Don't Stop Believing by Journey, a really iconic piano part, a really iconic keyboard part. Often in famous rock songs, it's the guitar riff that gets all of the attention, but in this song, it's the piano, and that is one of the main reasons I think this is a great song to learn. It is a very common song to play at gigs, at weddings, at parties, so if you're considering that type of music, it's a really great song to add to your repertoire. But the reason we're learning it today is it also happens to be a really great lesson in two skills at the piano. The first of which is coordination between the two hands, which, as I've mentioned in passing before, is one of the big challenges of playing piano, is coordinating the actions of our two hands. But the other challenge that comes with this song is the stretch, the octave stretch in the right hand, because the part we're playing here is all based around this octave of B. And although for a short amount of time, having that octave playing isn't too strenuous, playing it throughout the entire duration of the song can actually be a bit of a challenge. So it's a really good way of developing some stamina with those slightly more awkward hand shapes that these chords are demanding of us. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by learning the right hand part, and then we're going to look at the left hand part, and then finally we'll bring the both parts together. And because we're now just removing the right hand part, we're keeping it on its own, we can hear the likeness, but it definitely loses some of its character because it's the left hand that sort of completes the part. But that's just something we need to bear in mind as we're learning it. When we're just learning the right hand, at first it might not sound quite right, but just have faith that we are learning the right thing, we are playing it correctly, we're just not hearing the full context. So let's look at what the right hand's doing here. We start with this chord shape here. B, E, and then another B on top. Now, all of the chords in the song get this pattern where we go the outer notes and then the inner note. So the B and then the E. Like that. But as we start learning them, we're going to remove the pattern and just play them as one unit, one chord together. We can then add the pattern later on. So we start with this. Then the next chord, all we change is the middle note. The middle note goes from E to F sharp here. That's the second chord. The third chord is the same as the first one. So the middle note goes back where it was. And then for the fourth chord, our whole hand moves. Rather than having an octave of B between these two fingers, we instead get an octave of A, and in between, the note C sharp. So let's just recap those first four chords. B, E, and B. B, F sharp, and B. Back to B, E, and B. And then A, C sharp, and A. That's the first four. Then we get almost the same thing again, but there is a variation. So what we do, we start from the top again, B, E, and B. Then B, F sharp, and B again, so still following that same pattern. Now it changes. Rather than going back to the beginning, we do something very similar but different. We do that. B, D sharp, and B. And then finally, we move down to A, C sharp, and A, like we had on the first rotation. So let me run through all 8 of those chords for you now. B, E, and B, B, F sharp, and B, B, E, and B, A, C sharp, A. Then B, E, and B, B, F sharp, and B, B, D sharp, and B, A, C sharp, A. Remember, we have the worksheets available, the PDFs that you can download. If you're finding it hard to keep track of all of this information, don't forget that you could print those out or have them on a second screen as a really helpful guide for these different chords. But what I want you to do before you move on to the next video in this lesson is to master these 8 shapes. Of course, we have a lot of repetition here, so it's about keeping track of when it changes and when it doesn't change. but it's effectively an 8 chord sequence. Start by learning it like we are here with the single hit, single attack. And then once you've mastered that, once you've ideally got it memorized, we then add that pattern in. Remember the pattern was outside, inside, like that. I really love that pattern, the outside-inside pattern. It's something that you can take to any chord progression you like. This is one of those examples where learning a song, particularly an iconic song like this, can give you ideas that you can carry on to any chord progression, any song that you might like, whether it's a song you're learning or a song you're writing. So master that right-hand part, get it memorized, get it confident, and then in the next video we'll be looking at what the left hand is doing.